Welcome to the Coffee Rhetoric podcast. I am your intrepid host, Tiffany J, and I wanted to come through really quickly to talk about some influencer and beauty brand mess. Oh, yes. I do have a couple of other topics I had planned on recording, but I kind of put those on the back burner for now because I wanted to hop on this while the iron is hot because it's been trending and it's something that intrigues me. Anybody who knows me personally or who has watched and or listened to any of my content over the years, you all know or have come to know that I often tend to fall down a lot of social media rabbit holes, right? Um, and sometimes when I fall down those rabbit holes, I fall hard because falling down those rabbit holes tend to usurp large chunks of my time. And some of you might think that that's time that would be otherwise spent more productively. But look, rabbit holes can be productive, okay? Just ask Alice. She fell down a rabbit hole and she had all kinds of weird psychedelic adventures. But in any event, that's neither here nor there. Um, let's see. Anyway, I almost lost my train of thought. Anyway, let's get on to the mess. So this morning I came across a bit of mess involving the cosmetics brand Tarte. And for anybody that has been following Tarte over time, you know that they are no strangers to controversy. And a lot of the times, their controversies always seem to center around um, racial microaggressions, lack of inclusion, and their overall tone deafness, the overall tone the overall tone deafness, pardon me, and how they appeal to their consumers. Um, we all know that Tarte Cosmetics is messy as fuck, so let's not even pretend we don't, right? I've never used the brand myself. I tend to uh, almost exclusively use makeup brands that are owned and or operated uh, by Black women. So anyway, over the years, however, OG uh, Black beauty influencers, and I'm just going to name off the top of my head because these are the OG beauty influencers that I remember and that I used to watch back in the day. And back in the day on YouTube, um, I used to watch Black influencers like Jackie Aina, Alyssa Ashley, let's see, Makeup Shayla, oh, Hema. And most of these people are still on YouTube creating content. A lot of them have shifted onto platforms like TikTok and Instagram, but they're still in circulation. But these are the OGs I remember. Let me name a few more. There's Ohema, um, there's Nima Tang, there's Ellery, there's Vanessa Aima, there's Patricia Bright, there's Too Much Mouth. So you get the hint. So these are people um, that have been trailblazers in the social media beauty space since I'd say the mid aughts. In most instances, and by the mid aughts, I mean like maybe they started creating content on YouTube, I'd say around 2009, 2010. I know Jackie Aina did. And they were offering up inspirational kind of makeup tutorials for Black women with deeper skin tones and who are looking for beauty looks and we're looking for many of us were looking for tea for what the best kind of makeup was for our deeper skin tones, because back in the day, a lot of these established like legacy beauty brands, um before Fenty uh emerged and kicked in the door and shook the table, um a lot of them did not care about creating makeup formulas that were complementary to our skin. Let's keep it real. Even the so-called higher end brands, like they would make darker foundations forever, but a lot of the times the foundations would be I'm laughing and being silly, but let's be real. We know how they were creating foundations back in the day. Like a lot of the eyeshadows weren't all that pigmented. On our melanated skin, they would be chalky. A lot of the foundations would be very orange based or ashen, making you look casket ready. So they weren't really featuring us, okay, until they wanted to get in on that Fenty Beauty money, and then they started scrambling, trying to make a wide range of shades for women of color and for Black women. But in Tarte, even I'd say even after Fenty, they called themselves trying to attempt to do that, but they still fell short. They still fell short, and I would say back in the day, um, beauty influencers like Alyssa Ashley and like Jackie Aina, they were calling brands like Tarte Cosmetics out for the lack of range they had. Um, so they were definitely paving the way and calling these people out in that regard, especially as their platforms grew and they became more popular and they got more momentum in the beauty influencer space. I know Jackie Aina, they were calling these brands out and taking them to task for their lackluster shade ranges and things of that nature. And I'm saying all this because I wanted to give a little background on who the OGs were, because, when this mess cropped up on my radar with Tarte Cosmetics, I was a bit the one of the TikTok influencers at the center of the mess. I was a little confused when with her branding herself as like, and this is her words, and she said she's the only Black influencer paving the way and opening doors for others of her ilk. Listen, her large subscriber count notwithstanding, I have never heard of this woman. So, but again, I've heard of those other people I've named because I used to watch those channels back in the day. So I don't understand. I don't know where she's been, and I don't understand why she's branding herself as the only Black influencer paving the way and opening doors for Black beauty influencers. That's erroneous and it's not true. But anyway, we will circle the block back on her later. Here's the mess. Tarte Cosmetics found themselves in yet another pickle, because I'm sorry, I'm already chuckling. Get a hold of yourself, Tiffany J. But in any event, Tarte Cosmetic, they found themselves back in hot water because they invited a group of influencers on an extravagant brand trip to Miami, Florida, right? Now, anybody who knows anything about influencer trips, they're nothing new. They've become the norm in the world of beauty, and I'd say, yeah, mostly beauty, but definitely in lifestyle influencing. And how these trips usually work is large brands with access to big marketing budgets will usually fly a group of popular influencers out. Usually, I'd say anywhere from 6 to 10 influencers, maybe more if they have the money to do that. But what they'll do is they'll usually fly several influencers out for an all inclusive, all expenses paid free trip. to some luxury locale for a few days. And usually during those trips, it's jam packed with a lot of activities, a lot of elaborate meals and social events, photo shoots, promotional shit, and sometimes on location content creation, promoting whatever newly released product ahead of its official launch. So a lot of times that's what's going on this trip. A lot of just kind of perks and all kinds of free, fun, extravagant, expensive shit, right? So in any event, this will happen, and then people, they get to stay in these kind of luxury villas or these nice hotel rooms, and they get in the hotel rooms, and then they've got all this like thousands, hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of shit just staged around their room. All the products, the brand product of the brand that flew them out, and sometimes they'll have like champagne and all that kinds of things to welcome them. But anyway, I'll get into all that later because I've actually I'm working on uh essay, kind of excavating, going in deeper about this whole influencer culture, and that'll probably be up on my coffee page up on behind the paper. But anyway, I digress. But I'll talk more about influencer trips and shit and how that works. So that's essentially what happens on these influencer trips. And so anyway, back to the mess before I start sidebarring again. Um, in a deleted TikTok video, an influencer by the name of Bria Jones, she took to her 463 uh, 463K follower to call Tarte out because basically she was invited to a trip which she declined. She was invited to a trip to Miami, Florida for the Formula One Miami Grand Prix. And she felt she did. She told her followers that she declined the trip because she felt like she was shortchanged. Um, she felt like Tarte Cosmetics shortchanged her over the other white, mostly white influencers who were invited on a trip. How was she shortchanged? Well, Bria complained that the trip's itinerary for the weekend wasn't the same as her fellow white influencers who were also attending the trip. Um, for instance, she was saying, well, others were invited to the big F1 race on Sunday, which would have taken place on Sunday. And she claimed that, however, her flight, she was only asked to stay on the trip until Saturday. So she would be leaving before all of the other girls. So she wouldn't get to stay for the big Formula One Grand Prix race. I believe she would have, however, Saturday, she would have, however, got to see the practice run of the race. And, just as another related sidebar, from what I'm hearing, a lot of people who go to these big Grand Prix races down in Miami, they were saying how a lot of the times they prefer the practice show. They'll buy tickets to attend the practice runs because it's less people, it's less stress. You can relax, you can watch what's going on, and you don't have to deal with everything else that's going on during the big race. So, some people do prefer to attend the practice run. Not Bria. She felt like she got shortchanged because she was scheduled. She says that her flight was scheduled to leave a day earlier than the other girls who were on the trip. She said that because of this, she decided to drop out after realizing that she was not getting treated like everyone else there. And she said she felt like a quote unquote second tier person. I told you, this is I'm trying to unwind this whole Gordian knot because it's a lot. And I did hurriedly take some notes. So please bear with me because it's a lot. So that's what she said. And she said she made a video that I think I mentioned that she since deleted, and she was saying, "I will be damned as a Black creator if I accept anything other than equal treatment on these trips. I have more integrity to get all the way to Miami and realize that I'm being ranked," she complained. So, in response, Tarte's founder and CEO Maureen Kelly, she posted a video to clear the air, and Maureen Kelly explained that the company didn't want to repeat the same mistakes that they've done from the past, because like I said, Tarte Cosmetics is kind of messy and being embroiled in controversies, particularly controversies centered around racial microaggressions and tone deafness. They're no strangers to that. And they've been wanting to turn over a new leaf, whatever that leaf entails. But in any event, Maureen Kelly got on to clear the air. She said that this was nothing more than a case of miscommunication. Mind you, Bria has gone on a trip with Tarte Cosmetics before. She went to a Taylor Swift concert, and she got the red carpet rolled out for her. She got the VIP treatment, and she didn't seem to have any issues with what was going on there. And I think from some of the clips that I've seen, I think she might have been the only fly in the buttermilk on during that influencer trip. But anyway, sidebarring again. But now she mad with Tarte on this trip. And so Maureen Kelly, who's the CEO and founder of Tarte Cosmetics, was saying it was nothing more than miscommunication. Kelly claimed that all of the creators had the same access to activities during the trip, that no one was shortchanged or given preferential treatment. Kelly said that she wanted as many popular influencers to go to the Miami trip as possible. So what happened was, she claims that all arrivals and departures were staggered, and that each influencer was to have one day at the racetrack, one dinner, and one night at a nightclub. However, I guess when she realized this wasn't good enough for Bria or whomever else, she said she realized that it's really important for everybody to go on the big race on Sunday. So the Tarte team bought more tickets. I hope all of that made sense, because I'm still kind of reeling, trying to unpack all this shit. So anywho, so shortly after Maureen Kelly, the Tarte founder and CEO, posted her video trying to clean all this up, a self-aggrandizing Black influencer with like a history of being messy and problematic, named Nikkei. That's her name, Nikkei Ojekunle. I hope I'm saying that right. She's Nigerian. But for now, I'll stick to her. Her name is Nikkei. She's known as Specs and Blazers on social media. So anyway, Nikkei, aka Specs and Blazers, hops her happy ass on her TikTok to gloat that Tarte reached out to her after the whole thing with Bria. She gets on TikTok to gloat that Tarte had reached out to her because, the PR girls are my close friends, this, that, and the third. And, as the leading Black influencer of all influencers, I had to come out of retirement. So anyway, and do this one favor for them and be used as a diversity prop. But anyway, I'm being messy. Anyway, Nikkei hops on her TikTok to gloat and to be messy. And she claims that Tarte reached out to her after Bria dropped out. And then she said, she went on there to gloat that Tarte reached out to her and asked her at the last minute, please do us this one favor, and can you come to Miami on this influencer trip? Please do us a solid. So she said, sure, I can do that. And then they also reached out to another Black content creator named Fanita, known as Fanita on TikTok. And now Fanita, I guess her shtick is more comedic content creator. So, being asked to go on this influencer trip with a beauty brand, I think this was a new experience for her. So Tarte was it sounds like they were reaching out to any and any. uh, Black beauty influencer who had, say, more than 100,000 or more followers, whether they were beauty influencers or not. As long as they influenced, I guess that sufficed to them to try to clean this mess up and get their diversity, meet their diversity quota for the trip. So anyway, they reached out to Nikkei and they reached out to Fanita and they said, yeah, girl, yeah. So they went on their free trip to Miami, and then things continued to spiral and get messy from there. So here's what happened. The drama and the back and forth about Tarte F1 Gate, it started saturating people's FYP pages on TikTok. It saturated my algorithm on YouTube. That's how I found out about it. And so, I was swapping between YouTube and TikTok to get a feel for what all was going on. It also spilled out onto Twitter. So in any event, Nikkei, in a series of kind of like deleted videos and a lot of nanny boo booing on live streams and a lot of stitched commentary on TikTok, all this stuff unfolded amid all that. Bria, the Black influencer that kicked all this off, and that's who said that Tarte was not treating her fairly and with the itinerary, she ended up deactivating because with all this stuff, the backlash follows, because then you have people saying, look at these ungrateful influencers, why does everything have to be about race, this, that, and the other? So Bria got a lot of backlash. She deactivated her TikTok page for quote unquote mental health reasons and to ward off a lot of bullying and threats. But then she returned to TikTok briefly to let everyone know that she was coarse too, because she didn't want to fuck up the thing, as Funky Deneva would say. But so then she deactivated her TikTok, but then she briefly came back to let everyone know that she had smoothed things over with the good people at Tarte Cosmetics, because she don't want to mess up whatever future perks could be on the horizon for her. So then there's that. So after all that, she gets back on and says, okay, it's okay, everyone. I want to apologize. Everything's fine now. But then things continue to get messy. Because then Fanita released multiple videos calling herself trying to set the record straight, because she started ranting because I guess she got backlash and Nikkei got backlash. And then and I'll tell you why in a second, as soon as I can unpack all this. So then Fanita gets on, she's ranting about, oh, I don't have anything to do with this situation. Why am I getting backlash? And she also got on there to refute claims that she was being used as a token Black prop by Tarte Cosmetics, which, let's keep it real, they were. Tarte was using Fanita and Nikkei as token Black props to mitigate the fallout from Bria's initial post complaining about them, mistreating her. So there's that. Are you following so far? I hope so. So yeah. Okay. Sorry, I have to take a deep breath because that was a lot. So then all that happened. So in my opinion, I feel like Kanita, she did kind of low-key insert herself. She did. Because she could have just gone on her trip, her free trip. Could have gotten on her social media and said, hey guys, I'm very excited. This is my first big influencer trip. I got invited by Tarte Cosmetics to go to Miami, Florida for fun in the sun and to see the Formula One race, this, that, and the third. But instead, she got on there and did multiple videos with Nikkei, nanny boo-booing and talking shit about Bria. So no, you did it had everything to do with you because you inserted yourself in the situation and you decided to low key be a mean girl with the very delusional Nikkei, right? So that's why you got backlash, Fanita, because I saw the video clips. So then, so yes, so then she got on there to rant and rave about that and to refute claims that she was being used as a token black prop, diversity prop by Tarte Cosmetics. Nikkei also, Specs and Blazers also um, made a slew of videos gloating, um, inflating her own sense of self importance in the world of influencing, and claiming that she is the Harriet Tubman of Black influencers. When, quite honestly, most people had never even heard of her until this mess kicked off. Because again, Jackie Aina, Alyssa Ashley, Nima Tang, and all them people I named earlier. But she's claiming she's the only Black influencer that's ever in the history of Black influencers. Okay, whatever. So then she got on there cutting the fool, and then she got on there to cut the fool, to gloat, to feed her own ego, to gaslight her Black subscribers and other Black influencers in the beauty space. She got on there chastising them for not knowing how to, and you're not going to believe. She got on there talking about they're fucking up the bag because they don't know how to use racism to their advantage. When I can't, I'm trying not to laugh because this is just so freaking ridiculous. They don't know how to use racism to their advantage like she does. So there's that. So and then she and, like I said, she and Fanita also posted a series of videos to social media during their trip to, just kind of stick out their tongues, nanny boo boo at Bria, and for not being on the trip and for not understanding her kind of whatever contractual agreement she had with Tarte Cosmetics that, that precipitated the events with the quote unquote miscommunication. So I hope y'all are following because I'm really trying to get through this because it's a lot. Now, all of that is interesting because they're posting live streams, they're making videos whining about receiving undue backlash for being plunged into the situation that had nothing to do with them. They're mad, they're blaming Bria for being because they're blaming Bria because they're claiming because of you and your video, now me and Finita are being villainized. And in Nikkei's case, people are jealous because they don't want to see because everybody else just don't want to see a Nigerian win, according to her. Nikkei and Finita have both pointed out that 6 other Black influencers also attended the trip. However, we haven't heard, well, at least I haven't heard a peep out of any of the other Black girls that were on the trip because you know why? They weren't feeding into the drama. We haven't seen or heard a tale of them on social media being mean girls and teaming up to throw another Black influencer under the bus, right? So who cares if 6 other Black girls went on the trip? You all were the 2 that got on showing your asses. And Bria, you were the one that kind of got on and kind of showed your ass too. Let's keep it real. Because I feel like if this were a miscommunication or you misunderstood or you felt like you were being mistreated, I felt like perhaps if you did reach out to Tarte, pardon me, then I stand corrected. But I felt like this was a situation you could have dealt with behind the scenes, and not made public. And, especially since only you came back, you did all this only for you to come back on social, to deactivate and then come back and say, my bad, everything's cool, I'm sorry, me and Tarte are back cool again. You could have dealt with this behind the scenes to begin with. So anyway, that's my unpopular opinion. But I feel like, you know, um, Yeah, whatever six other black influencers, when they went on there to do their fucking job, and then they went on about, they got their free swag, and they went on about, they enjoyed the race, they enjoyed the, all the perks and and they went on about their business. They weren't teaming up to nanny nanny boo boo and throw other black influencers under the bus. I feel like all three of the major players, um at the end of the day, we're vying to kind of remain in the good graces of a brand that doesn't even prioritize them or any other black person who's into makeup or any other black influencer that's into makeup. Y'all did all that for a brand that don't give a damn about you, your comfort, or any of that, or creating makeup ranges and shades that complement you. They've done the bare minimum. Okay. In any event, that's the best I can do to untangle this mess. As far as I'm concerned, there are no winners in the situation. I feel like the only entity benefiting from it all is Tarte Cosmetics, because for better or for worse, they've gone viral at Black women's expense. It keeps the brand's name in the spotlight. And despite the optics of what took place here, I feel like, I'm sure, um, other young BIPOC up and coming beauty influencers will be chomping at the bit to get a space on one of Tarte's coveted influencer trips. Um, I love something, because on a side note, there was also another beauty influencer of color. I think she's Indian. I'm not sure. Southeast Asian, South Asian. Well, anyway, her name is Cynthia Victor. She also came out calling out Tarte for. I'm really trying not to be a jerk with the chuckling and laughing. So then this person also called out Tarte because during a trip to Turks and Caicos, she claims that she was assigned the smallest room during the trip to Turks and Caicos. But you know what? I don't feel like unpacking that one, because this one with the Miami trip, they're calling it Tarte Formula One Gate. I have a headache unpacking that. But anyway, this is all a mess. I think it's unfortunate that Black women, were in conflict over it, because again, you're doing all this for a brand that don't really truly give a shit about you. They're using, as much as you all say, I wasn't used as a token. You were. You were used as a diversity prop by Tarte, because they were trying to mitigate the fuck shit that took place after Bria did her video claiming she was being shortchanged. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I think this is just all a bunch of bullshit, but I'm still going to be following it to see what's what and what else is going to happen after this point. People just try not to feed into this kind of bullshit, especially Black women in the influencer and beauty and social media space. I always say it all the time, it seems so easy um, to trend and to go viral and to become infamous, whatever, because any kind of attention, even if it's bad or unfavorable, it's attention. And a lot of the times it seems like the best way to get any kind of buzz from a marketing perspective is to start poking and prodding at Black women. And so often I feel like we feed into the fooly wang, and we end up getting the backlash. We end up, yeah. So that's my rant. I say that all the time. The easiest way to go viral or to get some buzz seems like to piss off Black women. And a lot of times we'll start, especially in the name of uh, whiteness at, the institution. will start clawing at each other, on some pick me shit. And I feel like that's the fuck shit Nikkei, aka Specs and Blazers, was on. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm looking forward to going live soon because I have a lot of things I need to talk about. Like I said, I've got some other recordings on the horizon, but I'm still trying to decide if I want to record those as audio or do those as lost live streams or do those as pre-recorded videos. In the meantime, please if you've appreciated what you've heard here, please like, share, subscribe. Do you think that Tarte Cosmetics were using these young beauty influencers as token diversity props to make their brand look like they were trying to do something? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. Anyway, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. We will talk again soon in some capacity, I'm sure. Bye. Oh, I forgot to say, if you feel like it, go to www.coffeerhetoric.com. I've got some writings on there and other information. Just go there and check me out. You'll find other information. Whatever. Happy Wednesday, y'all.